In this week's Parsha, Parshas Terumah, the Torah tells us all about the different kelim that were made for the Mishkan. The Aron, the Shulchan, the Mizbeach, the Menorah. But the first thing that it mentions is the Aron HaKodesh. And the Panim Yafes writes that each part of the construction of the Aron alludes to a different one of our forefathers of Klal Yisrael. He says that the two kruvim that were on top of the Aron allude to Avram Avinu and Yitzchak Avinu. And if you take the gematria of the word kruv times 2, is the gematria 456, which is the same as Avraham Yitzchak. After Avram and Yitzchak comes Yaakov. He says that Yaakov Avinu, when he slept in the Makam HaMikdash, he said, Ma noira hamakim hazeh. Noira, the word noira, has the same oisius as the word Aron. And Yaakov Avinu himself was the pillar of Torah, right? There's shlosh dvarim ha'olam oimed. There are 3 pillars of the world: Ala Torah, Ala Avodah, Ala Gemilas Chasadim. Avram was Chesed, Yitzchak was Avodah, and Yaakov was Torah. So that also is referring to the Aron. The Aron was the paramount, the pillar, the representative of Torah, and that's Yaakov. The 4 sides of the Aron represent the 12 Shvatim who traveled in a 4-sided formation in the Midbar with their Degalim. Each side was 3 Shvatim, so those 4 sides of the Aron, the backs, refer to the 12 Shvatim. And then the 2 poles, the Badim, that were alongside the Aron, refer to the 2 leaders of Klal Yisrael that held up the nation, the 2 poles that held up the Aron, Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen, the 2 leaders that led us through the Midbar into Eretz Yisrael, or almost into Eretz Yisrael. And lastly, but not least, inside the Aron were the Luchos HaBris, allude to Yosef HaTzadik, who is the Shomer HaBris, who withstood his temptation in front of Eshes Potiphar. Azoi zakt the Panim Yafes. And I was thinking about this. The Aron HaKodesh, the Aron, which was the holiest of all of these objects, all the Shulchan, the Menorah, the Mizbeach, it stood in the Kodesh Kodashim. It was the only structure there. It was the only thing in the Kodesh Kodashim, the Holy of Holies, the holiest place on earth, where the holiest person on earth, the Kohen Gadol, would walk into once a year on the holiest day of the year, on Yom Kippur, and do the Avodah. That Aron that was in that holiest place, at the holiest time, the holiest place in the world, with the holiest person, and there was Avram, there was Yitzchak, there was Yaakov, but inside the Aron, inside the most pneumistic place of all of that, was Yosef HaTzadik. It wasn't Avram, it wasn't Yitzchak, it wasn't Moshe, it wasn't Aaron. After everything, all our leaders, what's the most important, what's the most pneumius, the part of the Aron, the Luchos that were in the Aron, representative of Yosef HaTzadik. Because of Shomer HaBris. How powerful is that? How crazy is that? This wasn't meant to be a Vayemayim video. But Shomer HaBris, that's the most important fact of everything. May we be zeichet to guard our eyes, resist temptation, and may we be zeichet to see in Mirz Hashem with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu, the building of the Bayis HaShlishi b'Meher v'Yameinu, with the Kohen Gadol doing the Avodah in the Beit HaMikdash, with the Aron, with the on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, in the holiest place. May we be zeichet to also a beautiful Shabbos. Good job.